from a strange cloud. He walked into a strange storm. We descended from a strange cloud. Walked into a strange storm. Carrying the strangest cargo ever known before. We're sailing in a strange sea. We're blown by a strange wind. We're sailing in a strange sea. We're blown by a strange wind. Together with the strangest crew that I've ever seen. We're together on a strange barge. We're following a strange star. We're gaining from the strangest things never known before. We're living in a strange house, flesh and blood and strange laws. We're living in a strange house, flesh and blood and strange laws. Transforming fleshly bodies into Christ the Word. We're together on a strange march. We're following a strange star. We're gaining from the strangest things never known before. We're living in a strange house, flesh and blood and strange laws, transforming fleshly bodies into Christ the Word.
Amen. It's good to be back this evening. Good day to everyone. I say good day because I know it's so many different time zones that we're all on right now. So I just say good day. Some of you it's morning, some of you it's afternoon, evening, and in the middle of the night. So it's good to be back, and I have been having a little bit of congestion and coughing and things. Seems like it always starts up right about the time the night falls, and then in the morning it seems to clear up okay. But I know it's going away. I'm much better than I was. So, love bless. And I've been wrestling with pneumonia in both lungs and COVID. A lot of my family is going through it, but that's okay. I know that all things work together for the good of those that have that love and understanding. So I understand it all. And you pray for me that if I happen to get to where I'm coughing too much, I will just go ahead and close it out. So, but in our last session together, we discussed our international life, interdimensional life, and updated our terms and thoughts on the dimensions. So we looked at an interdimensional life, and we updated a lot of the terms that had to do with those dimensional things. We updated it with the understanding that we now have, and we made the dimensions actually not only apply out throughout the universe, but gave those dimensions names that are both scientific and spiritually related, and took the dimensions to an inner cycle as we use and become the experiences of the universally connected life. We're connected in an entire web of the universe. There's no doubt about it. Everything is energy, and that energy vibes becomes stronger and neutral back and forth through vibrations and frequencies and invisible and visible bodies and elements and things like that. So today I wanted to discuss a little further these dimensions and what they do for us. Actually, these dimensions that we discussed, if you remember, it was emptiness and elements and measurement and discovery and carnal mind, theophany mind, spiritual mind, and these were a cycle that we continually go through. One of them no important than the other. It's not like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 7 is the most important and 6 is the next. And no, it's not any of that. It's a cycle. And we rotate through the cycle continually, and where we're at the moment in any cycle, where we're at the moment is the most important, because that's our focus. That's what we're doing. And as we move through, where we're at is the most important the next day, and where we're at the next month is the most important. So it's things in a cycle that all need to blend in together for us. So today I wanted to discuss a little further these dimensions, what they do for us. Actually, they are a roadmap, a way for us to envision and move, a roadmap or a mapping of interdimensional things, and we live and relate with each of these cycles as we go through them. We have the capability with our minds to enter the experiences of interdimensional living. Our mind is carnal. It is theophany, and it is spiritual. And you can be working in one or all three simultaneous. And I say all three, it's just attributes of one. And your mind has the capability of bringing these dimensions to life, experiences in interdimensional living on a moment-by-moment basis, just continually moving through that cycle that I was talking about as far as the dimensions. So we see this happening all around us, and I want to take the time to say that, go back to Zechariah for just a minute, Zechariah 14, which we talked last week when we were talking on interdimensional life. And Zechariah 14 and 6, it said, "And it shall come to pass in that day that the light shall not be clear nor dark, but it shall be one day which shall be known to the Lord, not day nor night. But it shall come to pass that at evening time it shall be light. So you notice that scripture. There's going to be a time where the day, the light won't be clear or dark. Light and darkness will be alike. But it shall be one day which shall be known to the Lord, not day nor night. We've just come to understand this, that we have both in us, and we are not day nor night. We are not light nor darkness. We are understanding and unknown, and that's what it is. Darkness is just something that's unknown in us, and light is something that we know and understand. And there's going to be a day when this unknown and known will begin to blend together, and it shall be a day which shall be known to the Lord, not day nor night, but it shall come to pass that at evening time it shall be light. And we know that in the evening time of the church age, William Branham, a prophet, came, and he did exactly that for us. He brought out an understanding that took us into the light in which we were headed into. So in the evening time of the church ages, a prophet comes and reveals the light on the fact that the seals are opening and we're moving into another age. And then when that happens, that age is an age that's neither day nor night. It's neither light nor darkness. It's an age of known and unknown. And if you have something that's unknown, like Neil deGrasse said, if your God is unknown, he said, we're going to eliminate him pretty quick, because we are learning so much so fast and coming to understanding. And so my God, I don't have one. And I understand my spirit. I understand the Spirit, the Creator. I understand all of that. I understand it within me. I've got very little that I worry about. I've got tons that I don't know about, but I don't worry about it, because when I enter that cycle of emptiness and begin to move through the cycle of those dimensions, I'm going to learn and I'm going to understand what I didn't know. So that's all it is, really. Now, we are looking at a day wherein the term has changed. And it's not daytime nor nighttime. Not light or dark. That's what the scripture said. A time when the term is holistic. Things known and unknown, they're together. And as you continue to move in your cycle, you keep filling yourself up with the information, and things become known, and they become known, and they become known. And you keep moving into unknown, and you just don't fear it. Know that it's you gaining information, and the day in which there's neither day nor night, but the way it is today is a perfect day. It's a perfect time. So we are looking at a day wherein the term has changed, and it's not daytime nor nighttime. It's not light or dark. It's a time when the term is holistic. It's a holistic view of what is happening. Light and darkness are alike to me. That's what David said in the scripture. That's what I've been saying since 2014, really since 2002. And light and darkness just aren't the day that we're in. Light and darkness are alike to me. We are talking about entering the Aquarian age. You remember the moon, the 7 phases of the moon down through the church ages? 7 messengers, stars out. It was nighttime. You remember that? Jesus said the day is far spent, the night is at hand. You need to work while it's day. And they went into night. And then we came through the night section and finished it up. And light and darkness changed. We're talking about entering the Aquarian age and leaving the Piscean age. Here in this script, that's what it's saying. You're moving into another age where we're not going to separate day and night. We're not going to separate light and darkness. Light and darkness are alike unto me. And William Branham caught the light of the evening of that 7 church ages. It was a light to reveal and put the things that were unknown, put them into the known category, and give us more and more and more information. And so when he caught the understanding of the unknown and brought it to the known world of the evening, and it moved us through the seals into a transition and into a holistic age of Aquarius, where in the new world, what did he say? You neither need the sun nor the moon. You don't need the sun. Jesus Christ is a light. You've read all these things about the city and everything else. So we're in that day right now. And I want to take just a minute while we're talking on these dimensions. Ephesians 3 and verse 14. It says, "For this cause I bow my knees unto the Father of our Lord Jesus Christ, of whom the whole family in heaven and earth is named, that he would grant you, according to the riches of his glory, to be strengthened with might by his Spirit in the inner man." So now I'm internalizing these things. So that he would grant you, according to the riches of his glory, to be strengthened with the might by his Spirit in the inner man, that Christ may dwell in your hearts by faith, that ye being rooted and grounded in love. Okay, so we see that you're rooted and grounded in love. You may be able to comprehend with all saints. That's not just talking about what you see visibly, invisibly, other dimensions, all these things, so that you may be able to comprehend with all saints what is the breadth and length and depth and height. So Paul has just described a 4-square dimension. Breadth and length and depth and height. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Breadth, length, depth, height. 4-square dimension. 4-square city. 4 corners of the earth. You could go on and on and on. We're living dimensionally all the time. And to know the love of Christ, which passeth knowledge. So the love of Christ comes into the known world, passes all the knowledge and information, and what you do, that you might be filled with all the fullness of the Spirit. Or, in other words, you take all of this knowledge of the unknown and all this information that you're not sure what's going on, and you begin to process it, and you begin to root and ground yourself in this 4-square dimensional focus, and you begin to take in all of this information that comes your way, and you get to know the love of Christ, which passes all of that knowledge and fills you up with understanding. So we see that Paul was laying out a 4-square dimensional process. Now, for just a minute, I want to come back to what we were talking on. I want to dwell a little on this thought of Paul's. And I believe it will help us understand our dimensional walk and focus on our present moments for comprehension. Now, you remember last week, I said there's 7 things. Spiritual mind, and they're not necessarily in any certain order of use. You could be using them all at one time, or a couple, or 1 or 2, but you're working through these processes. You're continually in the cycle. Spiritual mind, theophany mind, carnal mind. That is the invisible world. Spiritual mind, theophany mind, carnal mind. Invisible world, those 3 attributes are one mind. Then there is discovery. And discovery lays right in the center. It's like a center line. It lays right in the center of these 3 spiritual, invisible dimensions and these 3 physical dimensions. And there's 3 physical dimensions, which are measurement, elements, and emptiness. So you have emptiness, elements, and measurement. You have discovery, and then you have carnal, theophany, and spiritual, invisible. And you take the visible, the physical, and you take the spiritual, and you are able to place them or bring them together in this center of all things, which is discovery. Discovery is the center of all things, moving us from unknown to known, moving us from one cycle to another, moving us through cycles many times. Discovery, that's what it's about. So we have this, and it replaces the old style, God theophany, hell, science, time, matter, and space, which we always put everything out. Hell's down there, and God's up there, and science is of the world, and we got to stay separate from it, and time's killing us, and just on and on and on. Just move all that out of your mind. Take these that we've talked about and begin to use them in your life. All atoms of the universe. Remember, this cycle starts out with emptiness, unknown, unfilled. It's empty space, whatever you want to call it. Now, all atoms of the universe that make up everything in the universe, visible and invisible, all of it is 99.999% empty. Now that's just amazing to me, that an atom, you can take an atom, you can put it in a nucleus, and you can compress it, and you can blow an atomic bomb off that will destroy an entire section of the earth. And it is 99.99% empty. That says to me that if we want to get anywhere in life, we need to keep emptying ourselves out, taking information in, receiving information from everybody, everything, visible and invisible, saints, from everything. Keep taking the information in, but then keep giving it out. Let it flow out. Let it empty out. It's the old concept of giving and receiving. When you receive, give. It opens up your heart, your understanding, and it opens up a flow going through you. Things will keep coming in. If you don't allow yourself to fill up, become stagnant, become static, and wiggle tails and everything else start getting in you, open up and keep sending things out, and keep giving, and when you receive something, know you received it, and be grateful and start giving. And when you do this, You stay empty so you can fill up with more information, and you keep giving, and you're a constant flow for the Spirit to move through. If you're not a constant flow, listen to me, you're not giving. You need to be giving. You say, well, I'm poor. You got something. You got something you can give with your mouth, with your mind. You got something you can give, whether it's a dollar or a penny or a thank you or you're welcome. You got things you can give all the time. And your attitude, your love, your care, your compassion, your empathy. I'm not just talking about natural things. Give these things and empty yourself and let yourself continue to be filled up. The Spirit will fill a vessel. If that vessel fills up and stops, it won't put any more in it. If that vessel continues to let things go, there'll be a flow of the Spirit going through it. So we see this. All atoms of the universe, 99.9% blank, empty. The cycle of energy flows in this dimensional walk. This cycle will free you internally when you start with emptiness. You will free up. It doesn't matter what you get into. If it's your career, you go into a career, you walk in there that first day on the job, they tell you you're going to do some training. And you go in there as an empty person. You don't know how to run the machine. You don't know the instructions. You don't know the people. You don't know the supervisor. And you go in there completely empty. And you begin to receive. And you begin to receive training from people on how to run it. You begin to receive instructions to read and understand it. You begin to receive quotas of what you need to do in order to put a certain amount out. And you begin to fill yourself up with that career, with that information. And every day, you keep emptying out. You make it, you send it out. You make it, you send it out. And every day, when you go back, somebody's got a pile there for you. And you're filled up, and you keep sending it out. No matter what it is in life, that's just one example. No matter what it is in life, coming to emptiness first, and then moving through the elements, through the measurements of everything, the information coming in, the discovery of everything, and using those minds. You could call it the unconscious mind, the subconscious mind, and the spiritual mind. You could call it whatever you want. But those three attributes you use on a continual basis. Now, we live in a 4-square dimension of the dimension of measurement. You know what measurement is? We showed how that space was emptiness, matter was elements, time is measurement. We live in a 4-square dimension . Sorry about that. I thought I changed those out, but I guess I didn't. So, let me continue here. Sorry, I'll step back just a touch, knowing that you didn't have sound for a minute. I think we have sound now. Yeah, I see it. My batteries went low on me. Thought I changed them. Okay. We live in a four-square dimensional life. A four-dimensional height, depth, breadth, and width. And inside that, we focus with our mind. The mind that is carnal, theophany, spiritual, and we sort through this dimensional process. And while you're in this, focus inside this four-dimensional process that Paul has talked about. And when we do that, the power to comprehend with all saints what is the breadth and length and height and depth, and to know the love of Christ that surpasses knowledge, Ephesians 3:18 and 19. Think on this, and you will begin to understand your body. You'll begin to understand the city. The city's here. It's the saints. It's all of these invisible and visible. It's humanity. It's the creation of the earth. The earth is the body of the Spirit. The earth is the city of the Spirit. So think on this and you'll begin to understand that. And you'll understand the earth and you'll understand the universe. And if you will do what I was saying and focus on this four-dimensional, four-square city, four-square body, four-square city, four-square earth, focus on those four squares while you're in here and comprehend all you can. Height, depth, width, length, comprehend it all. And wherever you're at in the process, focus on it. Remember, there are four angel characters and atmospheres in this day that we have already gone through that whole angelic atmosphere, the change, the bringing on of the angelic attributes and nature out of us. And these four characters, we know what they are. They were Michael and Gabriel and Wormwood and Lucifer. And these four angels, we concentrate, and they're going to give us that four square. We're going to understand. You know what Michael was. He was a great warrior. You know what Gabriel was. He was a great messenger. You know what Lucifer was. He was the one brought on light and darkness. And you know what Wormwood is. He's the one that brings on the change in the elements of the earth. Things like that. Noah's day. Our prophet told us Wormwood is the one that was directing Noah. He changes the elements. He does all those things for us. So we have all of those within us. And there are four life messengers working on the four corners of the earth. You know what Brother Branham said? He said that they came through justification, sanctification, restoration of gifts, full word. So there were four life messengers that bring on new life. When you are justified, you're moving into another world. Justified, totally sinless, everything of the past gone. Sanctification, taking all those old things out of you and putting them where they belong in the past or in a memory somewhere to use when you need it, whatever it might be. When you come to restoration, that is to bring back to your memory the things that you left behind when you came into the natural birth, and the Holy Spirit moves in you to bring those things back to you, one experience at a time. You remember all that I ever said unto you, he told us. So there are 4 life messengers working the 4 corners of the earth, and then there is the Word. Word, full understanding. So you move through justification, take on a new life. You move through sanctification, moving out all the old life. You come to restoration. You begin to fill that new emptiness up by restoring your memory from many, many, many years and centuries and invisible worlds ago. And you begin to fill yourself up. And you go through the cycle again and again and again. It just keeps working. There is the 4 square city, the New Jerusalem. We know that. There is the heavenly city. So we have all of these 4 square. Paul wasn't just writing. He was telling us what we're dwelling in. A 4-dimensional process with a mind that is 3-dimensional and is able to work through all corners and all avenues and restore and bring back through the cycle of dimensions everything that we are. So we walk in every one of these dimensions. We walk in every one of these dimensions and conditions with our dimensional gathering of invisible and visible at the center of discovery. Emptiness, elements, measurement. Spiritual, theophany, carnal. Discovery, right in the middle. And you're bringing all of this together. Your mind, you're bringing your 3-dimensional mind into a 4-dimensional process, and you are using the carnal, the theophany, to sort things out and become a spiritual being. It's happening all around you. It's happening all through you. We walk in every one of these dimensions, conditions, with our dimensional gathering of visible and invisible at the center of discovery. The breadth and the length and the height and the depth are our focus of the moment within every dimensional cycle. Wherever you're at in your cycle, look at the 4-dimensional process and use your 3-dimensional mind and move back and forth through the dimensions and store knowledge and information and move it through understanding. As you're sorting through these things, understand and move it to understanding. Let's understand that love let's understand that love, the person of the Spirit. Love is a person. It's Christ. It's the Spirit. Love is a person. It's not an object. It's not an emotion. It's a person. The person of the Spirit is what opens our eyes and gives us meat to feed our bobbies and make us into a holistic person. So we have that love. It is us. And Paul said that love would open up the eyes of our understanding in Ephesians 1. Love opens up understanding. And understanding goes way, way, way beyond anything else. Understanding goes beyond knowledge. Understanding goes beyond forgiveness. Love was the spirit that makes the 7 pillars. Your house and your function. You remember the 7 pillars? All the cycles throughout history are cycles operated by love. The pyramid of 7 virtues, the 7 pillars of wisdom, remember all those? the 7 praises, the 7 cries, and so much more. Love is the bond of this perfectness. When you're inside this 4-dimensional, 4-square process and the pressure is on, it'll squeeze the love right out of you. It'll begin to express itself. I remember when they first come out, I was a young boy, and they first come out with what they call pressure cookers. You know, you always just used a frying pan or whatever, cast iron, and you done what you could to cook what you could, and you had pots. But then they came out with these pressure cookers. And Dad just loved squirrel hunting. And so I would go, and I remember us coming in with several squirrels off and on. And you'd take them, you'd cut them up, put them in a frying pan, cook them, and I mean, it's all you could do to eat them. You just pulling them apart and everything else. Well, when those pressure cookers come out, they took that squirrel, they cut it all up, they put it in a pressure cooker for about 20 minutes or a half an hour. Then you take it out of there and you fry it. Oh man, it just fall apart in your mouth. Because pressure brings you to a complete fullness, maturity, taste, feeling, hear, smell. Pressure that you get put under brings you to maturity a lot quicker. That's what this 4-square dimensional process that you and I have put ourselves into, it was to bring us, it was to get us done in a quick manner. 60 years, 70 years, some people 1 year, 20 years, 30 years, whatever. However long you're in the pressure cooker, you get softer, you get better known, you get all those things. You become mature. So we have this going on. Love was the spirit that makes the 7 pillars. The 7 praises, so much more. Love, Paul said, is the bond of perfectness. The person of love, I told you, love is a person. The person of love is the 7th seal. That's you and me. The person of love is the 7th seal and was not wrapped up in the 6 seals. The 6 seals were all happenings, information, known and unknown, all of those things. But the 7th seal, this 7th seal, love is the bond that holds our perfectness that we are now manifesting. So love moves into those 6 seals, places itself in there, and this person, you and I, we gain our knowledge, our understanding, and everything else through this 4-dimensional process, which the 6 seals, the 7 trumpets, the 7 plagues, the 7 thunders, the 7 church ages, all of those things, those are all informational processes that we move through, and we gain our knowledge, and we get the experience of understanding, and we become a person of understanding rather than a person of knowledge, a person of unknown. We gain it all. So we see this. The person of love is the 7th seal and was not wrapped up in the 6 seals. Love is the bond that holds our perfectness that we are now manifesting. Love is a person with such compassion that it reincarnates itself. And it does it time and time again. Love, the Spirit. Someone said, "Oh, Brother Parnell, we don't believe in reincarnation." Well, not like they do. But I do believe in reincarnation. And we incarnate ourselves into one experience and into another and into another. And we reincarnate. And we reincarnate from theophany, from physical to invisible, and from invisible back to back to visible and invisible. And we reincarnate, or we hold within us the ability to continue shifting through this four-square dimensional process and reincarnating experiences and lives and everything else in order for us to gain all of the understanding we can in this four-square dimensional place that we're living right now. So love is a person with such compassion that it reincarnates itself and expresses itself in an innumerable amount of ways, just continually. Someone said, well, Jesus Christ, he didn't reincarnate. He didn't? Have you read Christ as the mystery? Have you read Christ revealed in his own word? Have you read the unveiling of God? Have you read the 7 church ages where that Moses was Jesus Christ? Where Samson was Jesus Christ? Where every prophet, every person, everything was a reincarnation of Jesus Christ. And we hold that same ability to reincarnate into situations and gain the knowledge and experience. Think of all the knowledge that laid in the Spirit of Christ, and then it's moved into this world and laid in every person, in every animal, in every creation, in everything. The knowledge that is continually coming in and the experience to back it up. That's what we're here for. We're here to comprehend a 4-dimensional process with our 3-dimensional mind. Everything that's created, listen to me, love is a person with such compassion that it reincarnates itself and expresses itself in an innumerable amount of ways. Everything created is love. Everything created is love. Nothing could come outside of love. What can be created outside of love? You say, hate. Hate is not a creation. Hate is a perversion. You say, murder. Murder's not a creation. Murder's a perversion. Love is the creation. And something may pervert or something may distort that love, but it's not a creation. It'll go away. But love will never go away. Love is a person. Everything created is love. This person expressing itself. The biblical writers knew this. One said, I believe it was Paul or John, the love of money. Now, if you run that back into the Lutheran days, into the real German Bible, King James was royalty, and they had all the money. So in England, money was power. But in Germany, the way it was originally written, it says that the love of power is the root of all evil. Now listen to that real close. The love of power is the root of all evil. Did you listen closely? Love is the root of all evil. That's what it said. Whether it's power or murder or whatever it is, just go down through there and look at anything that distorted love a little bit. And love is the root of all of it. Love is the root of all evil. Oh, one person said, if you love nothing, you would fear nothing. Well, it's true. If I didn't love anything, I wouldn't fear about losing it, that's for sure. You would fear nothing. Out of love, you fear what you might lose, what you have. So all of this fear is a distorted love. Fear's not a creation, love is. And we see that all of these distortions, we get mixed up in those distortions, and we say, oh, that's the devil. That couldn't have come from love. And we get it all messed up. This understanding that love is the root of all things. Love is the root of love. Love is the root of good. Love is the root of evil. Love is the root of sin. Love is the root of perversion. Love is the root of distortion. Love is the root of all things. This understanding brings us to the reality of oneness and gives us the knowledge of our connection to all things. This revelation casts understanding, compassion, growth, and evolution into our four-square dimensional life that we are living right now. In love, we are involved totally. I like this. This is, and I don't know how to say their name exactly, Sushilk Das. But they say, in love, we are involved totally. Our body, our mind, our soul, love unifies us. Love gives us unity in our innermost core. I like this. Then we are no more a body. Listen, because this is good. Then we are no more a body. We are no more a mind. We are no more a soul. We are simply one. We're not dissected. We're not separated. We're no longer a body, a spirit, or a soul. We are just one person. And when we recognize that, we are simply one. Then we start falling in unity with the whole. That's what I'm trying to do right now, to help you to focus on this four-dimensional living process that we're in, and take your three-dimensional mind and come in there and focus and make yourself one in every dimension. And don't think, well, my body does this, and my soul does this, and my spirit is this, and just drop that all, forget all that, move out of your separatism, and come into where you realize you're no more a body, a soul, or a spirit, or a mind. You are simply one person, and then you start falling in unity with a whole process beyond all of that, and you come into us. You come into a process of us, a holistic being. Then the drop disappears in the ocean. I like that. And the ocean disappears in the drop. You don't have to run around, well, I'm just a drop. I can't do what the whole ocean can do. Or, we're in a whole ocean. The ocean disappears and the drop disappears. And it's just all one. Then the drop disappears in the ocean disappears in the drop. I would like all to fill the whole world with love. I like the way they said that. We're in this process now. This is the process we're in. Height, depth, width, length. Four-square city. Four-square earth. Four-square universe. Four-square angels. Everything's four-square, and we're living in it. You have a three-dimensional mind. Take that three-dimensional mind and apply it and sort everything out in this city, in this earth, in this body, in everything that we're living in, and come to the known. Pass knowledge. Pass all those other things and come to the known. Everyone and everything wants to go home. I had written this. Everybody wants to be home. Not a building, not a place, but a condition within where our atmosphere and our surroundings are our great strength and enjoyment. The journey is not in miles. The journey is not in kilometers. The journey is in love. Keep moving in love. Continue to bring your mind three-dimensional mind into this process. Continue to sort out. When you find something where you feel conflict, let me teach you a little example. You find something where you feel conflict, and maybe you feel anger, and maybe you don't feel good about a person, or you don't like what happened here, or whatever. When you're holding that conflict, the best you can do is forgiveness. And forgiveness holds regrets. Forgiveness holds memories. Forgiveness, I'll say it's purgatory. You're somewhere in between where you should be. But when you do this, when you come to that understanding, it's so far beyond knowledge, passing forgiveness, passing all that. So we have this going on. Love is all there is. Come back to your love. Look at the process you just went through, or what that person did to you, or what you did to a person. And bring yourself to an understanding of why that took place. And when you bring yourself to an understanding, you don't have to worry about forgiveness. You don't have to worry about, do I know or not know what to do? When you bring yourself to an understanding, you immediately know what to do. You know how to move through that process. You know how to get beyond that conflict. Understanding takes us there. Love is all there is. Love is the single energy in the universe. Every act is an act of love. There is nothing else. Now, I know you wouldn't believe the things that I received when I put that out. Every act is an act of love. There is nothing else. Oh, people begin to write and say, I don't understand. How in the world can you say these actions of politics and religion and war and murder and all that? How can you say that every act is an act of love? Because I received several versions of this question by different ones. How inside this four-square city, inside this four-square body, how in the world do I understand that? That all of these diverse actions come from love. Hate comes from love. Murder comes from love. Sin comes from love. Anger comes from love. I could go on and on and on and just keep naming off all the things that you and I personally think are gross. And if you'll take the time to understand where that came from, you will find that love is the person that was behind that. I received several questions by different ones and thought that this will help you. For instance, I said that forgiveness is purgatory. Let me give you a little example. Let's say that you're having a birthday party for your 3-year-old daughter. And all the kids are around the table, and so, they start singing happy birthday, and here walks Dad in with a nice big birthday cake, and your little daughter's sitting at the end of the table and all the other little friends, and you bring the birthday cake in, and you got all the milk lined up, the cups and for them to get, and the pieces of cake after you cut the cake. You got all the plates there, and the little daughter of yours gets so excited. She reaches for the cake. She knocks the cake over, knocks the milk. The milk goes flying all over the table. The cake's all messed up. And she puts her head in her hands. And what do? You look at her and say, I forgive you. Forgive you? How in the world? She didn't do anything wrong. She was happy. She was excited. She was wanting to be a part of that great celebration and knew that she was the center of it. And then that happened. You don't say, go to your room. I'll forgive you tomorrow. Forgiveness ain't got nothing to do with it. You pat her, you hold her, you tell her it's okay, it's your cake, and you're going to get some. And I understand what happened. I understand. You know, don't worry, baby. Well, that's the way the Spirit, that's the way love is. No matter what happens, everything is working out of love. Someone said, so-and-so murdered somebody. Is that love, Brother Parnell? If you could sit down with the person and talk to them about why they murdered that person, it's all going to stem back to somewhere where there was a distortion of love. Love for a country, love for money, love for a woman, love for a man, whatever, as distorted as it might be, hatred comes from love. Even the Lord said, Esau I hate. It is a distorted, at the time, Esau was in a position that the Lord hated. Now later in his life, he moved out of that position because the Lord had understanding with his hatred. And you may see something and hate it, but you got to have understanding with it. And understand that that thing that happened stemmed from love. That thing that happened, you don't sit around and say, oh, I forgive you for this, I forgive you for that. You'll never come to where you want to come to in your walk. You'll never understand the 4 square dimensions that you are in if the most you can ever do is just say, well, I forgive you, I forgive you. Forgiveness is purgatory. It rolls in your head all the time, and you're all the time looking and seeing for something, and you say, I'm only going to forgive them so many times. Understand. It's a whole new life. I received these. Now, here's the question. Could you please explain more how that every act is an act that originates from love? This is what I said. Because God is love. Have you read your scripture? And there's not another in the universe. There is not another person in the universe. God is love. So everything, just very simply, one sentence, everything stems from love. Now, it may, as it goes down the line, somebody's mind gets it all mixed up, but it originally comes from love. Now, because God is love, inside this 4-dimensional height, depth, width, breadth, inside here, all of it, every action, everything is a 3-dimensional mind that is the spirit of love that moved in there. Now, if there are 2 separate energies, which we know God is energy, the Spirit is energy, the entire universe is energy, and if there are 2 separate energies and one didn't come from the Spirit, then there's more than one eternal Spirit. And we know better than that. Zoe, there's only one form of eternal life. What you need to do is to take the old traditional thoughts of bad and good. Those come from a distortion. What you need to do is take away the old traditional thoughts of bad and good and know that it is just life. It's living inside the 4 square. And you're viewing it with a 3-dimensional mind. Just know that it is just life. Energy is a person. God is a spirit. We use energy to understand ourselves, and energy is not bad, and energy is not good. Energy is neutral. Energy is just energy. When you go to a utility company, let's use this example. When you go to a utility company, you've bought a home, you want some energy, and you go to pay for the energy. When you go in there, do you tell them that you want good energy? Be sure you always send good energy to my house. Or do you go in there and let them know that you want bad energy? I don't want no good energy now. I just bought this home and I want you to only send me bad energy. Could you do that? Or could you send me a mixture? Can I have some good and some bad energy? They would just look at you like, you know what you did? You distorted energy. You distorted the original love by making those kinds of statements. That's not what it is. So, when you go there, you don't do that. You tell them you want energy. You want electric for your home. What do you do with the energy? What you do with this energy could be perceived as good or bad. The energy is still just neutral. It could be perceived as good or bad based on man's definition or based on the way we look at people's actions. Examples could be you get your energy and you make it into a meth house or a drug house, or you have a crack house. And we would say, whoo, that's bad energy. No, that's people that have distorted good energy. That's people that have distorted neutral energy. What you do with that energy could be perceived as good or bad based on what man's definition and your actions are. You may be punished by man's law. Yeah. Just because if you rob someplace and then you give your heart to the original love and you begin to live that way, that's real good. But when man catches up to you, he's got a law. You might have all the original love in you could ever have, but they're going to make you spend time in jail. They're going to judge you by man's law, not God's law, man's law. You may be punished by man's law. That didn't make the energy good or bad. The energy is always the same. It's always neutral. And your actions and your thoughts, and when you bring your three-dimensional mind into that four-square city, that four-square body, and you begin to apply certain things in certain ways, then you start getting into what is distorted and what is not. But it all comes from love. Thinking that the energy is good or bad energy is what has caused us to stoop into dualism. There's a Christian and there's a sinner. Stoop into all kinds of dualism. I'm a good person and I'm a bad person. I'm a this, I'm a that. And all kinds of separatism. They're black, we're white. They're on and on and on. Separatism, racism, politics. You get a man and he steps into politics and he does all kinds of things and you say, wow, that man is no good. That man is this and that man is that. If you could sit down with that man, no matter who he is, and you could talk with him, a terrorist, why do you go kill people? If you could just sit down and talk, why are you out there destroying and killing and maiming and doing all these things? What is in your mind? And if they're truthful with you, they'll tell you, because we love our nation and we're fighting for it. We love Sharia law and we're fighting for it. We love Christianity and we're fighting for it. We love whatever it might be. They will, Everything from terrorists right on down the line, some of the sexual stuff that goes on, it is a love of relationship, and they distort the relationship, but it comes from an original love. So we see all of this happening all around us, thinking that the energy is good or bad, causes us to stoop into this dualism, separatism. This created a false conception, and that's where this all came from. This created a false conception of gods and devils and demons and all sorts of separatism, coming to the understanding that it is our uses and our actions with that one energy that needs to change and bring us back to a holistic view of oneness. That brings us to a complete comprehension, comprehending all things within this four square, when we can continually bring it back to love and realize that love had no reason to murder until somebody distorted the love. But that doesn't make love good or bad. Love is still neutral. It's the person's mind and the person's way that he sorts through the four-dimensional process that needs to change. We see that love is the spirit, and when our eyes of understanding are open, we see oneness through love. That's what Paul said would happen when our eyes of understanding are open. Every movement, every creation, every action, we need to understand every act is an act of love. When you can come to this understanding, there won't be that conflict, that anger, that jealousy, that whatever it might be that tries to distort your four-dimensional process. You carnal mind and your theophany mind need to sort it out, dig into the reasons why, listen to what the person had to say, pay attention to what they're doing, why they're doing it, and understand. And when you understand, you won't carry all of that, I got to forgive. You won't carry all of that purgatory, regretting, and feelings of hatred. And if he does that one more time, he'll never be forgiven. If she, whatever. You just get past all that and move into understanding. Move into where we are at in a dimensional walk. We're in a four-dimensional, four-square walk with our three-dimensional mind, and we're comprehending all we can inside here for now. If you were to talk to thousands, understanding surpasses knowledge. So many people are so angry until they come to understanding, and it surpasses knowledge. Knowledge is power. It is. Understanding is authority. Listen, there's a big difference. Knowledge is power. When you have knowledge, you have power. But when you can come to understanding, it surpasses the power and it becomes authority. You know, you may have the knowledge of being a policeman. And so something goes wrong and the traffic's bad and the lights are out and cars are zipping everywhere back and forth. And you decide, well, I've got all the knowledge and the know-how. I'll just walk out there in the middle of the road. And you don't have a uniform on and you don't have a badge. You might get yourself run over, because knowledge is power. But you'd better have some authority. You'd better come to an understanding that these people don't know. They're in the unknown as to who I am. And I need to express this and put that hat on, put that badge on, put that uniform on, and go out there, put that gun or whatever it is, and go out there and begin to do your process. And everybody will say, don't run over that man. Pay attention to his arms. Pay attention to his directions. He's a policeman. You'll be in trouble if you don't. So that's the difference between understanding and knowledge. Knowledge is power. Understanding is authority. When you come into this four square, fill up with knowledge all you can, but don't forget to apply it to experience so that you can come to an understanding and authority in what you're doing. If we were to talk to thousands about why they acted in a certain situation, we would find that the core of every action is the root of love. Love is the root of all things. Love is the root of power. Love is the root of authority. Love is the root of sin. Love is the root of all things. And what happens, a three-dimensional mind gets into the four square dimensions, and they sort it out in such a way that they don't come to understanding. Doesn't mean that love was not the original objective. Love is where all creation comes from. So we're working in this dimensional life with nothing but love. Oh, now, Brother Parnell. We are working in this four square dimensional life with our three-dimensional mind inside this four square. We are operating with no other energy but love. That's it. Now, don't you want to go back as much as you can to the original root? Get the nature of that and move out with that and understand all things. Take in all this information, process it, and come to a point to where you graduate, you understand, then go back to emptiness, do it again, then go back to emptiness, do it again. Keep moving through those dimensional processes so that you can become a mature, more understanding, so that you are able to take all the distortions and you're able to dissolve those. And if you can dissolve them in your personal life, you can begin to dissolve them in other people's lives and help them to go back to the original. When we are talking to these thousands, we come to where every action is the root of love. Lying, murder, war, terrorism, genocide, peace, stealing. So a person steals something, that's out of love. They had a love. They either had somebody they love and they stole it to give it to them. They had some child they need to feed and they stole it so they could feed them. They had whatever, just keep going. You keep pushing it back, you'll find where the root of all things is love. Adultery, it's a love of relationship. But you get distorted and you don't understand exactly how, and your three-dimensional mind kind of wants to feel that relationship, and it moves outside of the original process of love. But it's love that moves you. Drunkenness, hatred, jealousy, all of these things. When we are observing and experiencing, when we are observing, which is that's what this three-dimensional mind is doing here. You are the observer inside this four square dimension, and you are gaining your experience and all the things that you need to gain so that you surpass knowledge. and surpass forgiveness, and you come to understanding. When you're observing and experiencing, remember the oneness that you have come to, and you'll understand every action. You may not agree with every action. I ain't telling you to do that. There's many things I hate and I disagree with. But I understand the action because I have traced that action back to love. I look at Donald Trump. I said back when he first ran in 2016, that man's going to get in. I could see it plain as anything. Everybody said, oh no, Hillary, Hillary, Hillary. I said, that man's going to get in. You know why? Because you could watch Hillary and you could see that her love for the United States and for the people was not like the love of Donald Trump. And I knew, and I also know still, that love will win out. It always wins out. The original core of love will always win out. The distortion is not a creation. The perversion is not a creation. But that original love is a creation, and it's eternal. It can't go away. All this perversion will go away. It's not real. It's distorted. Its original root is love, and that will die out, and the root of love will keep going. So, we are observing and experiencing. Remember the oneness that we have come to, and you'll understand every action, and you may not agree with every action, but you will understand it. I don't have to forgive, I can't even think of his name, Brandon, Joe Biden. I don't have to forgive him. He makes me frustrated so many times. And I come into my conflict and I pay attention to what he's doing and I watch what he's doing, and he has a certain love for certain things and he's working off of that original love. So I don't forgive him, I understand him. I don't like what he's doing, but I understand him. I hope that someone who is more into the original root of love replaces at the next election. So we see this. Give your heart to understanding, and you will never have to forgive another person again. Give your heart to understanding, and you will never have to forgive another person. You will understand them. You will help them. You will help them move through the process. You will do all of those things. In the meantime, you may get angry. You may hate like the Lord did Esau. You may disagree totally with the way they act, the way they live, the way they look, but understand them. Get past forgiveness, get past knowledge and information, process it, and work with them from the original love. Forgiveness. Oh, I can forgive people so many times, and that's it. Well, forgiveness is a purgatory. That's what it is. The Catholic Church, they have heaven and hell and then purgatory. And you got to pay so much money in to get all your family out of purgatory and all those kinds of things. Well, forgiveness is purgatory. It holds you both. It holds you both captive. Forgiveness. Oh, I forgive you. Yeah, but you just wait till the next time. See if you can forgive them or not. And let it build and let it keep building. And let that memory keep building. And let them do a little something else. And let them cross your path again one too many times. And you'll find out forgiveness is purgatory. You'll go to bed with it. You'll sleep with it. You'll want something to happen to them. You'll want all kinds of things. You'll want divorces. You'll want them in jail. You'll want this. You'll want that. Because forgiveness doesn't take you where you need to go. Understanding does. Forgiveness is purgatory. Understanding is the real thing. Forgiving people will leave you unsettled with feelings of regret, confusion, and unanswered questions. Why did they do this? Why did they do that? Understanding will remove all those feelings and conditions of purgatory. You won't have to live in purgatory if you'll take the time to understand these processes in the four square and how a three-dimensional mind can get them distorted, but that doesn't change the energy in the process. You just need to help them dissolve their distortion. And you need to help yourself dissolve your own distortion many times. Understanding will remove all of those feelings and conditions of purgatory. We will go back in the next couple of sessions and look at how we broke this thick veil of separatism, because we did. We'll go back and take a look at how we broke through these thick veils. It may take a couple of sessions, but we'll look at it. And how we have fed ourselves and freed ourselves to another world of vast dimensions within. We came into a new world. Remember Revelations 21, 22. There was no need of the sun. There was no need of the moon, for there's neither day nor night. Jesus Christ is the temple in that city. That's where we're at. There's no day or night. There's no light or darkness. This is the Aquarian age. This is the great city. This is a new world where that we are those things, and we are in this great new world. Let's fill it up with the original process, meaning, and life of love. Let's go back to the root of all things, and let's enjoy this together. I'm going to close. I can feel my chest is getting. So I love you. I hope this has helped you. We will continue here for a little while and just take a look at how we broke through all those distortions, broke through all those perversions, and we've come as observers to being able to spread the original love throughout the four square city, throughout this four square dimensional life that we're living. And we're able to work with the spiritual man up here. We're able to work with the spiritual man inside us, the inner man, and we're able to fill this world, and we're going to change this world. Love bless. If you have something you need, reach for it. Go inside. Know that it's yours. Lord, Spirit, Great One, our four square body, our four square earth, our four square city, it needs your original love beyond all the distortions. We need to begin to dissolve everything other than the original. Love bless you. And I will see you the next time.